Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft server. We're back over at xisumavoid's amazing base and we're going to fill it back in once again. He thought that was the real prank. Oh no, the real prank starts here. Every time he empties that water, I'm going to fill it all the way back up. Now that would be mean. That is not what I am here to do. No. There was a little bit of hate on the video last episode, so we're starting things over here. If you didn't see the last episode, there was a prank. A certain base got filled up with water, and I want to make it really clear to all of you that we're all good friends here on the server. We're all adults as well. We know how to behave with one another, and I got some comments just saying we took things too far. This was griefing. It wasn't, a prank. And believe me, it was all good. I spoke to XB. He said that he felt that his reaction was a bit over the top and that he enjoyed the prank, and I offered to help him clear it up as well, but he'd already done it because, it didn't take too long to repair things. So when we came over here, we definitely didn't want to do a lot of damage. No, that's not what we were trying to do. We had a look at what was going on here, and let's just jump down. I don't have any ender pearls, but I've got feather falling, so that's good. And kind of assessed what was going on. So on the outside over here, we saw that everything was grass, and it was just regular bone meal. There wasn't any special planting of, different plants. There was some too-tall grass, but most of it was just bone meal. So we thought, okay, if the water comes down on there, it's going to knock out the torches. It's going to knock out the plants. Doesn't take too long to go around. Spam a few torches, spam a little bit of bone meal, and get it back to normal. Didn't think about the grass though, but it'll spread back with time. And we did miss one thing though, torches on the top of this building, something XB mentioned. I didn't really notice them when we were going around, but other than that we made sure to cover up all the different entrances and exits, and somehow I missed something back over here. We covered this one up, that was fine, and it was just something over here that I managed to miss, and I'm not sure how because I filled in all of this with netherrack right here. It was me that did this bit, and I made sure the netherrack went over the sides of these rails, which were there in the video, but somehow the water got down the middle and got rid of these ones, so I don't know how exactly that happened. And also didn't damage his special cheaty water as well. I saw this and made sure it was all covered up, so we didn't do a lot of damage. We were quite considerate within the means that yes, some things were going to get a little bit destroyed, but that's part of the fun, you see. XB probably had a real laugh when he came over here, saw his base had been filled up with water, and then you've got to do a little bit of removal at the top. Doesn't take too long to remove all that stuff, and then just come down here, replace your torches, and then bone meal it again. And you know what, if someone did that to me, I'd be cool with it because it's so much fun, and it's just I feel like some of you will get it and some of you won't, but believe me, I've been speaking to XB, things are absolutely fine, we're all cool. And I just wanted to address what seemed like a little bit of an overreaction on the last episode. So for those of you that were leaving comments saying, you didn't like it and you thought it was too far, just think about it again. We're all good friends here on the server. We know what we're doing. We're not stepping on anyone's toes. And of course, if we do, perhaps take it over the line, someone feels like, hey, that's not cool. We'd talk to them and we'd sort it out. We'd say, okay, sorry about that. We'll come over and fix up the damage, which is what I offered to do, and XB was fine with it. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. So all is good over here. And oh my god, I'm walking out of here. Actually, do you know what, it's fine, we'll leave something at the top here. I figured that we'd leave XB something here, but don't tell him it was from me. We're just going to put a beacon in an item frame for those of you that are truly concerned. I had a look through my chest for something valuable. There was a random beacon there, and I thought, hey, that'll do. Since we're going to get a load of beacons soon. We are very close to getting the 64 wither fight prepared. I think I just need 20 wither skulls now, and then we'll be able to do it. But that's something for another day. Today we're heading back over to our base, and we're going to be working on a new project there, which I'm very excited for. Alright, we are back at the Netherwart farm. This thing looks pretty cool, right? It's almost finished. I want to put some quartz down the middle here, I think, and possibly some sort of station eventually, so a minecart track can come all the way down here. It gets picked up by a hopper after it hits a cactus, something along those lines, but we're going to leave it like this for now, just because it's going to serve its purpose for the meantime and get us some netherwarts, and it looks like it needs harvesting. But in terms of what we've done down here on the floor, got some suggestions for nether brick. Quite a few suggestions actually. Nether brick was just the one where it's like, yes, let's do that. And I decided to put some netherrack and fire in here for lighting, do something a little bit different, and throw in some glass as well, just to shake things up. Did get a few suggestions for put glass in the floor and mirror the build below. Actually thought that was a really cool suggestion, but I don't feel like I want to do that on this particular one. So we head up here using our fantastic new Netherwart farm, which still needs a little bit of tweaking. Hold down right click, and I need to hold the Netherwarts in my hand as well. That would have been good, but there we go. We planted some back down again, and I'll probably go and finish that off in a bit. And we get some netherwarts from it, but I don't think it's enough. Oh no, I think we need more netherwarts, and it looks like some of them actually fall out down below and could potentially land on the fire. We need to put glass on the front of this. I said we'd do that last time, and I didn't. Oh my god, right. Got to write that one down. Some white glass on the front of this I think will look really cool. But we're going to expand it. We're going to add a few layers to it, and we're going to try and keep the look that we have here, but just have it so that this layer and the one behind it, which is where all the stuff happens, just basically goes up into the roof and off into the distance. We'll try and make it as high as possible. That way we're going to get a ton more netherwarts, because my ambitions for a potion setup are pretty big. And I don't want to do that thing where I ramble on and on and on. You can see that I've been busy and getting prepared. Look at this. I've opened it all the way up, and it looks pretty awesome. So if we go up to the next level, I can kind of show you how I did this. I looked for the border on the floor above, and I went around and dug it all out. So when we go around here, you'll see, you can see up to that bit, dug that around the entire side, and then down below to the floor down here, just sort of following the same wall. And with the occasional cave. We'll fill that in. Probably going to dig it away later anyway, because I want to make this floor, the entire floor, dedicated to potion brewing. I want this to be the place where we walk in and it's like, right, I need this potion, let's go get it. There's going to be a chest with loads of them sitting for us, and then we take them and off we go. So not getting into the logistics too much of how we're going to brew them. We are going to be doing it on a mass scale. I'm talking like lots and lots of netherwarts, lots of ingredients, and hopefully like we'll never really have to worry about potions again. There'll always be some available in this room. But what I do want to do is have a nice layout and have some icons for each different type of potion. So I was thinking what we could do is sort of separate and divide up the room, so we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe on this side, 5 on that side. The thing is, I think the amount of potions that there is in total at the moment is something like 13, and that includes negative ones which we probably wouldn't use. So I'm still sort of going over in my head, how many potion types do we realistically want to brew? Do we want to do all of them, or are we just going to do the most useful ones? But then we'll have this big grand room where you can come in, see all of the icons for the different potions, and just walk up to it and grab what you want to get. And I think that is going to be pretty cool, but I'm working on it. I'm still working on different things. I've got the design for the potion brewing set up. There's some pixel art and things like that that we need to work on. So for now we're going to head back over to the Netherwart farm and just, like I said, I'm going to make that extension. I'm going to be doing some work on the potion room idea as well, and I'll come back to you when this thing's been expanded. So it's now the next day for me, and I woke up with a bit of sore throat. I've got some morning voice as well, so if my voice sounds different, you know why. But check this out. We put glass on the front. Looks alright, doesn't it? And I've expanded this up pretty much as far as we can go, all the way up to the surface. And I've just found a problem which I knew kind of existed, then I think I forgot about. Can't remember if I actually mentioned it or not. Some of the netherwarts pop out the back here. And when I say some, it does actually seem like a fair amount. So what we're going to do is just pillar up here and investigate a little bit. So we can see one's falling down there, but is it doing the thing, yeah, where it jumps back up? That's when the client and the server disagree on something. So it keeps telling the client, no, it's actually up here, and then it says, nope, I'm falling. So another one over there, and it seems like quite a few. Another one there, yeah, so this is a definite problem, isn't it, with this design? And I think we've got a little bit of a solution. It's to just place some blocks here, which isn't no problem. However, this bit right here is powering the soul sand to power the rail on the other side, so that might be a little bit problematic. There might be another way around that. I think on the top side what we can do is on the opposite side we power the blocks that are there, but on the bottom side of this design there's glass on the opposite side, so there's going to be these occasional little gaps, but we will be minimizing the amount of netherwarts that we lose. But you can see here quite a few. Pretty much every floor like has a good chance of losing a netherwart. So up here is the surface. And if we go across to the side a little bit, let's use some of this stone, then you'll see that we come pretty much up to where I placed the beacon. Look, we can go out on top of here. So we come up as far as we can go. We've got a little bit of landscaping to do just to cover up the top of this. And yeah, we've literally touched the beacon that we placed down to dig out all of this. So it looks like filling it in and doing some testing is the next step, but otherwise the farm is working pretty good. Let's go all the way back down and I'll sort of show you the changes. I guess there's not too much to see. It kind of explains itself, doesn't it? It's now a lot taller. But if we go around here, this now goes all the way up there. And I've been thinking about maybe decorating this little bit right here, just taking out the walls and putting something in that looks a little bit nicer, but I'm not sure if that's actually what I want to do or not right now. Yeah, so this is what it is. I decided to use stone bricks. Initially I used stone and I thought, wait a minute, isn't the rule not to use stone? So when you're mining and all of a sudden you see some stone bricks, you know, oh, hang on a minute. But then again, all of this is going to be open, so it doesn't matter. You barely even see it because you're facing the soul sands. So we're going to go and fill in those gaps now and see if we can improve the efficiency of this farm. Alright, our problems should now all be fixed up. We've got these levers here powering the rails on the other side, so we don't need the blocks on the back. And if we hop around here, we can't really see too much, can we? But those blocks have been removed and I've sort of encased the whole thing. So if we drop all the way down here, you can see the entire thing is now flush. And there are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little spaces that the Netherwart might be able to end up. So with all of this flush, it's going to go on the other side. However, behind that block or to the side of it, there's some redstone, so it might end up in there. But I did just do a test, and not a single Netherwart fell down here. I couldn't see any on the sides of any blocks, and I think that means it's a success. And it certainly felt like I got a lot more Netherwarts to plant down. So now this thing is finished. Let's take a step back and have a look at it. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Looks like it's going to be ready to harvest soon as well. So now we should be getting a lot more Netherwarts from this thing, and we can call it a day on that project for now. And we can move on to the project that I'm really looking forward to, which is the potion brewing one, and it's going to take up this entire room. It's going to be a fun project. So we're now on the plot world, and I'm working out the logistics of what we're going to do here. We're going to have limited space in this build, and there are a lot of different potion types. In fact, there are 13 in total, and I've divided them up into 2 sets of 5, so you can put 5 of these on each side of the room. And what I want to do is include some pixel art for those as well, but we'll come back to that in a second. So going through all of these, there were some that I wasn't too sure about actually including. For example, there were like slowness potions or potions of weakness, and they seem like, although yes, we could brew them up and have them, we'll probably hardly ever use them. We want to be a little bit realistic with this. So if we look at the types that we would use, we've got regeneration, speed, fire resistance, healing. That's always good, of course. You probably want to turn those into splash potions as well. But what we'll do is we'll make that possible, of course. And then we've got night vision, strength, potion of leaping I'm not too sure I'll ever actually use. Then a potion of harming, water breathing and invisibility. So all of those are useful. However, harming you'll probably want to turn into a splash potion by default. And not being so keen on jumping, I was thinking, well, why don't we include poison as well? So what I might do is remove jumping and include poison and do those 2 as splash damage potions. So they'll be included in the 10. But then what we need to do is give them some pixel art. So for a project that I'm doing, I have these big pixel arts of different potion things, and unfortunately they're too big to fit inside of our base. We've got about 6 blocks of height to work with, so I kind of resized this thing right here, and I thought, you know what, it kind of looks pretty ugly when you reduce it down. So these are a little bit smaller than the actual pixels of the item they represent. For example, the melon, I think, has a fair few more pixels on it, this little icon right here, compared to that. However, the guys that made this from the server here have done a really good job of downsizing it, but it feels like if you go any smaller with these, then you're going to lose the charm of the pixel art, and they're not going to look so great. So what I want to come up with is some way for each little section of our floor, our base, to represent each different type of potion. And I'm thinking what I might do is try and do that with colour, or perhaps something to represent what each of the potions do. And at the moment I'm not really sure how I'm going to pull that off, but that's why, you know, I'm here on the server just figuring things out and playing around in creative mode, seeing what I can come up with. So time has passed by and I've made little progress on what's going to represent each of the potions in the walls. They're all going to have their own segments. Struggling with that a little bit, so I thought let's get on here and let's build the floor. I know what I want to do for this. I want to have something nice and randomized, so I went and picked out 5 different blocks to put alongside one another, and actually had a fair bit of fun placing this all down. I used just a simple technique of putting, you know, each of the blocks like this and placing down 10 at a time in random places, and I think the final result here looks really good. Nice and random and broken up, and I haven't put in any cobblestone stairs or slabs to, sort of break up the surface a little bit. I kind of feel like I like it just how it is, like this. So this is going to lead up to the walls. We're going to have each of our potion bits. As I said, though, I'm kind of struggling on that. So I really like the way that I put this together, and I thought it might look quite fun on a time lapse. So I'm sort of debating doing that at the moment, but I really don't have any plans. So at some point in this video, there might just be a random time lapse of me building the other side, but otherwise I'm going to go back to working on each of the different potion segments. And by the way, I initially was going to make these 5 wide, which I thought would be very small for having some pixel art here, so I made them 7 wide, and they sort of lead round to this bit over here. But if we did make them 5 wide each little segment, because we're probably going to have some sort of wall or divider here to separate each of the different potions, then we would be able to put an extra 2 on each side, which means 14 in total. And there's 13 in the game right now. Very likely they'll probably add another potion at some point. So I was very tempted to do that, but I think that's going over the top. So we're going to stick to each of these being 7 wide. So I'm rendering a video right now. I'm hoping that's not going to affect the frame rate too much. I seem to be able to get away with recording and rendering. I mean, this looks fine to me. So let's continue. Right, I've been busy since I last recorded, and I've had a helping hand from Metro and Jeffy Jeff on my server. I just want to say a big thanks to you guys if you are watching. Really do appreciate the help. I jumped onto the server, had very little time, and I grinded away at coming up with a design for this thing. Now, when we jump into building all of these things in the episode, sometimes there's a bit of pressure when you don't have, a design in mind, but it feels really great when it all comes together, and that's exactly what happened. I got a really nice design for this room, and while I was working on that, Metro and Jeff, they both managed to come up with the smaller size pixel kind of icon art, if you like, whatever you want to call it, for each of the potions, and they look really good. So we're going to have these awesome rooms where you can walk in here and you can see each of the different ingredients on the wall, and you'll know what potion type it's for, and it's going to look amazing. But anyway, you'll notice that I've just started building a little bit of it here at the front. I think I'm going to time-lapse building the rest of it, because I really like doing time lapses. I think we do like one every video lately. It's pretty crazy, I know. But if we head up the top here, we had a live stream on Sunday. Really great live stream. Want to say thank you to everyone who came along to that. It was really great fun. I decided what I wanted to do was rebuild the storage system back here and upgrade it to a completely silent design. And here it is. This thing is going to make no noise whatsoever, which is absolutely awesome. And I'll try and give you a quick explanation of what's going on. So down at the bottom, there's a whole bunch of crazy redstone. You're looking at it, you're thinking, I don't know how redstone works. Well, don't worry about it. This is just a timer, I guess you could say. There is like a cooldown timer in this bit that powers a clock, which is this bit right here. The clock then powers all of these alternating repeaters, which lock and unlock the hoppers at the front. So it's the same principle as before. The items go down like one by one. They go through the hoppers so they can look into the chest in front of them, which acts like a filter, because all the spaces are filled up with something. And then when it gets to the bottom, they head to the back here, and then this like sort of detects when an item comes in. It activates an item elevator that sends it all the way up to the top, and at the same time it also keeps this clock down the bottom running. So this means when items come into the system, it starts running itself automatically, and when, let's say, all of our items go into the first group of chests over here, or the first couple of rows, it's not going to keep running for the entire duration an item could spend going all the way around the system. It turns off, when it needs to. So it's a smart system. It's a lot better than the previous one. It does need some testing, however, and it does also have the output. This is the output right here on this side. Oh, it looks like a couple of items came all the way through. Interesting. As I said, it needs some testing. And the input's going to be on the other side. So a whole storage setup is going to be changed around a little bit. Like that item elevator will be moved over to this side probably. I don't know. We're not going to do too much now. This is a really great system. It was made by Cyborg2416, I do believe. He sent me a world download. I don't think there's a video or anything like that. So here it is in our world. And we're not going to do storage this episode. We're going to come back to that soon at some point. For now, we're going to focus on the potion room. bit of a short time lapse, I know, believe me, I wanted that to be a lot longer. However, I kept getting disconnected from the server, and that means that all of my replay files were broken up, and then that kind of makes it impossible to make a time lapse, which is unfortunate. But you saw what we did there in the video. We did the random pathing over here. So what I did was I took all 5 different textures and like place a load of them for one type first, and then move on to another one, and actually created a little bit of a bias, because by the time I got to the last block, which was the polished andesite, most of this middle area over here had been filled up. So there's technically more of them on the outside bit, but you'd never notice, and it's nicely broken up. It looks really good as you move around. I do like that. And so the second part of the time lapse, I was just digging away the space for this over here. I wasn't actually even going to include that in the time lapse, but once I started doing this bit, and you can see what I've done so far, I got disconnected about 3 or 4 times. So I gave up and thought, right, let's just record. So you can see for the roof, we got some jungle wood next to the acacia. Those two work well together. Obviously the acacia has more orange, but this still has a kind of orangey vibe. So I feel that transition works. And then we've just got like these little teeth that come out, and that helps it transition from that to some random blocks. So doing what we did on the bottom, on the ceiling, we got cobblestone, some stone bricks and stone slabs, which look pretty cool together. And then that leads it into this area over here with some of the, I'm going to say aquatic blocks. Whenever I look at these, I feel like saying aquatic. So that's our word for today. And I don't know why, but whenever I was thinking about this, I always knew I was going to be using the dark prismarine, and eventually I found a way to tie that in. So these divide up each of the rooms. You can see we've got some glass here. This is probably going to change. I tried different colours on the plot world, and light blue looked really good. And then when I came over here, I felt like trying something different, and it's just a little bit dark and not very obvious. But anyway, in this space right here is where the pixel art is going to go. So what I'm hoping we can do is gather up the materials and build them together. And then down on the floor, you're going to have this little area. This is actually going to be sea lanterns, I think, 2 deep, like this. Then there's going to be a chest in the wall right there where you pick up... Do I have sound on? I do. Never mind. There's going to be a chest right here where you can pick up your potions from. And then if you want to turn it into gunpowder, I plan on having a brewing stand on either side full of gunpowder, so you can take them out and drop them straight in, which would be really cool. And yeah, and then behind there we're going to have our automated brewing system, which we're going to cover in another episode. So I'm going to continue getting this ready, but we're going to go and do the pixel art together. I've got to gather the materials first, though. That means taking a trip to the mesa, I think, and also gathering some wool. We are very low on wool now, and we're definitely going to need some for this. Alright, it's pixel art time. Can you tell what's going to go in each of these based on that right there? This is like the background, this is the outline. It's black stained clay, and I wish it was a little bit darker, to be honest, but I think that's what we're going to go with. It looks cool. So we're going to start off by doing one right here. And I'm going to do the old guessing game now. It's completely pointless. We're going to do magma cream first of all. So I'm just going to build this based on some screenshots that I've got. These were made by Metru and Jeffy Jeff. They did an awesome job. I really do struggle doing this myself. I did give it a go, and I made a speed one that looked really awkward. In fact, I think I already showed you that in the video. So this is one of those things that I'm not too confident with. But these guys know exactly what they're doing. And now we need some red going down like this, all the way down to the bottom. And it definitely looks like magma cream, which is awesome. Cool, like that. So what's next? We got some orange to go through the middle here. And actually it's just like that, isn't it? Then a couple of pieces of yellow, and what I like that they've done here is that they've used both the clay and the wool, and it just throws in some like extra texture, doesn't it? So 2 bits of yellow right here, and then 2 bits of red wool, and it's done. And that looks like a magma cream if ever I've seen one. That is awesome. And let's just chuck these blocks in our inventory, because this one is going to be relatively simple. You can probably tell what it is. It is a gas tier. And it looks pretty cool, I think. So 2 quartz blocks there. We've got the 1 blue like right there, and I think there's just probably like a hint of blue in the gas tier, isn't there? And it definitely works, and it breaks up the texture as well. And there you go, a gas tier on that side. So over on this side now, we're going to go and do the blaze powder. That's what goes over here. For this one, we need some orange, some regular yellow, some gold goes in there as well, and some orange wool and yellow clay. I think that's all we need. So the gold goes here. And also, it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's right there. Yeah, that looks about right. And we'll just throw in the yellow. It's definitely yellow. So the hardened clay and the orange look quite similar, and I'm not sure which is which here. I think it's actually hardened clay. No, I think it's orange. It's really hard to tell. If I look at this right here and compare it to the screenshot that I've got, yeah, I'm going to say that this is made with orange. It's weird because the screenshot that I have, the colours look a little less vibrant than looking at this screen right here. But that's just the way it goes, I guess. So 2 on there, 1 on the end, and we're pretty much done here, right? Just a few more blocks to go. This thing is looking good. Then our orange goes like this, and then it's yellow and yellow. And it really looks like blaze powder. And this whole thing is going to look awesome. So there's going to be this, and these bits aren't finished. It's going to look more like this middle section going across here. There'll be another one there and there. So we'll have 5 on this side, 5 on that side, and it will look pretty amazing. I think that's terrific. Be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this. I think it's off to a good start. I really like this project. But anyway, that's going to be it from me this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It makes a big difference here on the channel, and it's always appreciated when you guys show that support. But that's it from me in this video. I don't think there is anything else to say other than I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're looking forward to this project, and I'll catch you in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.